And there's a really good reason for that, and that's a really good thing. And the reason is that when someone's a coach, my prayer is that they're actually coaching from their own life experience. And so they've had experience with the whatever issue is. So, if you're having problems with business, you might go to a business coach. If you're looking for a relationship, well, you might go to a soulmate or a relationship coach. Depending on what it is you're looking for, the beauty and joy is that there are, I'll give you 170 different types of coaches, knowing that there's even more than that. And it's like people ask me, well, why on earth would you go to a coach? And okay, so I've talked a little bit about it, but people go to coaches because the coach is going to support us with issues, like I said, gaining clarity, maybe changing direction in our life, making decisions in our lives. Even though they won't tell you what to do, a good coach will ask you the questions to help you uncover it in yourself. Finding our deeper truths and our clarity. When I was doing keyword research this week, a lot of people are searching, like, how do I find spiritual direction? That's another way a coach can help. Maybe they help us to see what we have not let go of yet. And they can really help with like the big transitions in our life, breakups in every kind of relationship, empty nest syndrome, jobs, careers, job loss, grief, and again, death, and all of that. And so one thing to consider is, one thing to consider that I have personally seen, and I also now believe, is that, I can come to a coach with having, say, one issue, but a good coach is going to help me tease out what's underneath of that. Okay. And what I have seen as a coach and a coach trainer is that, well, and don't take this badly, but if you dig down, most of all of our issues come down to just a few things that revolve around self-respect, self-awareness, being unworthy. That's the core. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm too big or too small or too much or too this, and I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy. At the basis, core of us, that's, I'd say 95 to 98% of our actual problem. And it's manifesting as, my job is, my boss at my job is being such an ass to me. And, and so if I've had that kind of a client, and when we dug deeper, so in that case, it's going to be one of two things. Either the boss is really an ass, or two, the client doesn't have the self-respect to stand up and say, stop it. Stop doing this to me. And so it's around helping people understand their true value and worth, because everybody's got that. Everybody's friggin' amazing. And so when you start digging deeper, if the boss is an ass, well, then the questions are, how do I, what do you need to do to get out of there? How can you change the situation? And so you ask them, and, can you go to HR? Yes or no, can you find another job? And so, or if it's self-respect, it's like, what voice in your head is telling you that you're not good enough, that you deserve respect, and that you're going to stand up to this bully and gain that respect. And so that's just a little teeny example of how an initial issue that we may start to work with is not, it's your real issue in the moment, but there's deeper things causing it. There's something else usually or often going on underneath of that. And that's what, at least my coaches and myself, that's what can get teased out of you. And we coaches do that by asking really good questions. And that's the prayer. And so, like, the characteristics of a really, in my opinion, a good life coach is that they ask you questions. They don't tell you what to do. First, they get to know you. And then, so they're asking, and hang on a second. Not wine tonight. I'm not going to gulp my wine. They start to get to know you. So, how I train my coaches is you have an intake session, and that's literally about getting to know you and asking questions about, your life and where you're at right now. It's like where you were, where you are, and where you want to go. Once, as at least for me, as I've got that information, then you've also given me what you want to work on. So that's the where you want to go part. And from there, after that first one, you've given a coach, because if they bring curiosity to it, like I'm so curious what's going on with people. How can I help them? How can I serve them? And a good coach, that's another characteristic. They should be serving you, not being a consultant and telling you anything. And so they are really good listeners. And I personally take notes, and I tell people, I say, you get more than 1 or 2 or 3 clients, you'll never remember it all. And so, they're taking notes, they're paying attention, they're asking you about you, they're helping you to delve into yourself. And coaches do that by asking really good questions. I know, and I'm not going to give you that, but in the course I teach, I've got 300 coaching questions. I could probably come up with another 100 now, but, so there's a lot of ways that you can start getting people to kind of open themselves up and uncover what those, say, lower hidden sometimes beliefs, agreements, wounds, the owies, and that kind of thing. There's a quote by Dr. Joe Vitale that is actually Freud. He adapted it. That's, I think, is brilliant. And it says, when you bury an emotion, you bury it alive. When you bury an emotion or a pain or a misunderstanding, you bury it alive. And it's still in there alive and kicking your life around. It really is. And so that's what a good coach does. I'll share something really quick. I had a friend, I was living in Santa Fe at the time, and a friend came down and she said, "Hey, I hear you're training coaches and that you're a life coach yourself." And I went, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I know some friends that will never go to one again." And I'm like, "Really? Why not?" "Oh, they just talked and talked and talked, and we're telling them what to do. And these people got so frustrated they will never go to a coach again." And before she finished, I was kind of chuckling. I mean, I couldn't help it. And she was getting a little like, "What the hell?" And I said, no, I'm so sorry. I said, "I'm only laughing because you have no idea how much time I spend telling my own coaches that I train, don't do that." And so that's a bad coach, that you want to avoid that in a coach, so if you've got you're trying to, well, this is a really good thing. So one of the things you can do, most coaches should have the ability for you to have like a discovery call or a clarity call with them, a free call, so you can check them out. And if they don't offer it directly, ask them for it. Ask them for it, seriously. And that way, when you have that call, you'll be able to feel them out. Does their energy resonate with you? And do they talk the whole damn time? Are they trying to sell you or serve you? I mean, there's a difference between selling to somebody and serving somebody. And when you're selling, it's like, "I want you to buy this." When you're serving, it's like, "How can I help you? What do you need? How can I support you?" And you can also tell from an intake or a discovery or a clarity call whether they're interested in you at all, whether they actually listen. And there's a difference between hearing you and listening to you.